We are live for the second time today. So live that my shirt says it. Yes, I repeated that joke from last time. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Andrew here, otherwise known as the guy who wrote the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. If you want to check out any of my books, whether it's that or Just Feel Good, you are always welcome to go to andrewcap.com. That's got some very easy links that go straight to Amazon, where you can check out any of my books that are available in all formats: hardcover, softcover. We've got Kindle, we've got audiobook. So whatever your preference is for anyone that's meeting me for the first time on these kinds of lives, whatever whatever works for you, it's there. It's available. Really excited to be here. Really grateful for the people that are in the live right now. It's very interesting. I This is 8 p.m. right now for anyone that sees this in a replay, and I went live at 2:30 this afternoon, and there was more people then than now. So it's very interesting. I'm kind of figuring out when people are available, when I'm more likely to get a bunch of people in the room, and for this day's lives in particular, having people in the room is really helpful, more for you than for me, in the sense that it's an opportunity for you to participate in a workshop. Like I don't really like I will do I've done interactive stuff and I will continue to do interactive stuff, but doing like a workshop of this nature, it's not something I normally do, certainly not for free. I mean, I was saying it on the last live. This is more of a pay type of deal, but I want to make sure I'm offering value. So here we are. Amanda, awesome. We got you on the second one, which is good. Some people are wondering, like, is Andrew going to do the same thing twice? It's like, no, I'm not. Each of these workshops are spontaneous. They're on the fly. They're, hey, Paula, how you doing? They're basically in response to whatever kind of input I get in real time from the chat. Although, like I said on the earliest ones, thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate that. Like I said on the earlier ones, the earlier one rather, it's you know, it's important that if you see this in a replay, you comment there also, because whether you're participating live or you're participating after the fact, this is kind of like an opportunity. And any comments that you leave down there not only will benefit you who's seeing this later, but also, you're going to benefit from other people that leave comments for you. So it's kind of like, look out for your neighbor, participate, have fun type of deal. And it's going to be really important. Oh, we got Z Paul, we got Tesh. Great to see you all. And of course, Beatrice, who was first to chime in. So last live, I said everything is like spontaneous. I'd come up with a certain name of a manifesting method, and I think that was basically it. And I was going to fly by the seat of my pants. That's the same kind of game plan for this, also with one, I guess, a technical exception. I really enjoyed the first method that I went through on the first workshop earlier today, and I don't want to just do a rerun. So instead, it just occurred to me about 40 minutes ago to like modify it. And I think that's important because for anyone that watches the last live and they watch this one, that is a lesson in and of itself. Being able to take a manifesting method that you enjoy already and giving yourself the freedom to even modify it and try something new with it. Now, as a brief recap before we kind of get into this, the whole purpose of this workshop, the reason I'm doing this for you, is because I understand human nature and the value of novelty in this work, in this process. And what I mean by that is there are certain people in this world who can pick one manifesting method and love it and just stick with it day after day after day and enjoy it so much and just be consistent that they can stick, it's like a daily process for them. Whereas other people, no matter how much they like a method, it might get old to them and they need something new just to mix it up, just have a little bit of variety. That's why I put like 19 or 20 methods in this one right here, because I understood even though any one of them on their own would be valuable enough for anyone that actually enjoyed it. Well, one, you don't know who's going to enjoy what. And two, you got to understand that, you know, ice cream could be your favorite food in the whole wide world, but if you have it every single day, at some point it gets a little old. So, what I'm doing here for you is a live demonstration of spontaneity so that I can give you my mindset, I can give you my process, and that you can kind of take cues from it and hopefully leverage it to then have the ability to make your own manifesting methods whenever you want, just the freedom to experiment. And if that's not really your thing, well, I'm going to keep being here. I'm going to keep offering new methods. I'm going to keep providing stuff. So it's not like you have to. This is just, I want to give you this option. I want you to have this as a tool in your belt, so to speak. And I think having that level of spontaneity and creativity around this will also aid you when you have to kind of troubleshoot yourself. Like you have to troubleshoot what you're going through is what I mean. Because like you might hit a certain obstacle and you're not sure your way around it. Like what's the answer? It might come to you more when you're giving yourself the freedom and flexibility to try things from a different angle. I think a lot of times when people run into obstacles here, it's because they're not willing to see something from a different angle. This is going to help facilitate and teach that skill for you in an indirect way. Oh, we got Matt Lane Fitness in the house. Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. Always love it when I spot familiar, cool people here. I saw Rebecca there also. I saw Kenneth. I saw Brandy, Dana. Thank you all for showing up. I'll be sure to check out a lot of your comments later on. And obviously, I'll be checking your chat pretty intently in this process. So let's dive in. Again, what I'm going to do is like I have a tiny bit of prep that I did like 40 minutes ago, but for the most part, I just want to go on the fly and we're going to queue you up with some questions and based on your answers, based on your personal answers, your personal experience, your personal perspective, we are going to construct. We are going to build manifesting methods just for you to use in any way you wish, whenever you wish. That's going to work for your vibrational frequency. So, awesome. Okay, quick one from Zpaw. I'm glad they are archived to share the knowledge forward, but it is so valuable to have these in real-time guidance. Like, yeah, like in real time, there's a real power and magic because you get to participate. And apologies for people that are in a different time zone. Like, there's people that want to see this, and they're just not awake, or they're just at work, or there's just something. So, apologies. I'm trying to do more lives to different times to get more people. But for those who are here, you should be super excited. This participation, it enhances this on a level that you might not even be perceiving. With that in mind, let's all dive in together. So the the method that I started with on the last live earlier, it was called the moment meld method. And we're going to begin with a modification of that, and pretty pretty decent modification. So I want to begin by asking you, and by the way, this new method's going to have a new name, but I'll give that to you at the end. I want you to think of one of your favorite moments from your past that anytime you think back to it, it lights you up. It fills you with a sense of gratitude or ease or appreciation. You can't help but smile when you're thinking back to this. But there's a caveat. There's one extra piece that, again, I didn't cover in the last one. Whatever memory you're choosing here, whatever moment, whatever experience, I want you to please choose something where you're with at least one other person. So some other person that you were interacting with on at least some minimal level. I mean, you could be at a party, you could be at a wedding and loving the wedding, and you remember just like hiding off at the corner at the bar, and the bartender was there, wasn't even speaking to you. Just, they gave you a drink. Like even that minor level of interactions enough. But we need somebody in the picture with you in this memory that you're going to choose, because you'll see in a later step. So with that in mind, if you can throw this into the chat, because I'm going to need these details from you to try to make this a little bit more vivid. Like pop into the chat. What is a memory that you think back to when there was at least one other person there that just brings the biggest smile to your face, fills you with a sense of joy and gratitude and appreciation? Um, Complimenting a bartender on a drink he created. Okay. Is that just using as an example, or is that a memory? Because I want, like, again, think of this, guys. What's a memory? And that could be a memory. But guys, please, like, into the chat, throw one or two in there. Oh, awesome. All right, cool. I love it. Anybody else? Or are we just going to go on that one example? Two or three, maybe more? You're in competition with the earlier crowd. The earlier crowd was on fire. Um, Seeing Cher in Las Vegas, very cool. We might use that. My college graduation celebration, I was with my entire family and best friend, specifically my sister. This is a fun memory for her as well. I made first chair at trombone, hanging out with my friends at the beach, giving kids some candy and seeing his excitement. My wedding, very nice. We got some good ones here. Okay, and obviously, you think about these and you were with other people. Very, very cool. What else we got? Same as before. First time. Oh, Christine, thank you. And I want to remember to use this one this time. Holding your cousin's hand. Sorry, your husband. My brain's on five different things at once. The first time you held your husband's hand. Zpaw, thank you so much. Awesome. Paying for other people's gas and groceries. My daughter's band won first place. Training in New Zealand and Australia and snorkeling. Very cool. All right. We've got our memories here. Now, how did I modify this? I want you to please think of something that you want right now, something that really lights you up, a very worthy manifestation that just like this is the thing that just you wake up every day and you're like, yeah, I think I'm ready for this one. Um, cool. We got my house, which could be in the memory or could be in the manifestation, right? But yeah, guys, if you start populating the chat, and again, people watching after the fact, throw down in the comments, like follow along with this. New condo home, very cool. Brandy, I'm assuming yours was a memory. Um, Christmas gift you're getting your fiance, financial and time freedom. Very nice. What else do we got from people? One more before I dive into something else? Nope. Is my chat feed slow or are you guys just kind of like hanging back? Steady recurring income, winning a bunch of money. I became a consistent and profitable trader. Cool. A global health report, a good health report. Freedom from pain. It lagged. Thank you for that note. My internet should be solid. Paying the house off. Cool. All right. So we have something that you want here, something that really works. Now, if you could think of it and put into the chat, what is an indicator that you got this thing that you want? A clear indicator. So, in other words, like if you got the house, maybe you're looking at the deed, or maybe you're signing off on the mortgage. Um, the good health report. Maybe you're getting an email from that, or the doctor's actually telling you in person. Um, Whatever these types of things are, we got remote job making 15K a month and purchasing your first home. Okay, so I imagine, looking at direct deposits on that remote job is an indicator that you're getting the thing that you want. Um, Interesting. Feeling stressed to move into the new condo. Okay. Um, if I'm interpreting that right, it's almost like a very vivid piece because like you're moving in, you've got it, and it's a natural human reaction. So you're really putting yourself in that reality, which if that's what you're doing, I really like that. Packing is hard. Nice. Bank statements, holding the keys in your hand, money is showing up in your trading account. All right, cool. So we've got all these pieces, right? So we've got the memory with another person, and we've got the thing we've got the thing that you want, and we've got the indicator of what that is. Now, here's where we're going to create a bit of an anchor for you. And the name of this method that I've modified, it's the sort of new news method. The sort of new news method. What you're going to do is you're going to kind of close your eyes, take a breath, relax, and bring yourself back to that really happy, joyous memory that you referenced when we were starting this off. And imagine a person that you were with. Their behavior, rather than what it was in that moment, it is now reflective of what just happened for you. So, for example, if someone they pulled out their phone, they see a direct deposit. Whereas in the old memory, they were just holding their spouse's hand and they were just like, whispering sweet nothings. In this point, your spouse is like, whoa, check out this deposit you just got in. Is that the first one? Like, what's going on here? Or any kind of like scenario where, like, you you're remembering that you're getting a house, and instead of like the realtor giving you the keys, it's back in that moment where the person you're with is giving you the keys or is congratulating you on the new home or something like that. Thank you so much, Deepa. I really appreciate that. In other words, take whatever that indicator of your successful manifestation is and put the behavior of the person from the past in that old memory reflecting that to you, and kind of sit with that and just breathe in and really take in and what we're doing on this. And anyone that sees the lives from one to the other, this one's a lot more like, straightforward, and there's not a lot of back and forth. Not that it's good or bad for that. But what you're doing in this process is you're anchoring in this new reality that you want with this vivid reality that's already holding deep onto your consciousness. And you're leveraging that anchor from the past to really put a level of realism and a level of the right kind of magnetic frequency into your vibration that's pulling this in. Ken, if you want me to clarify, so I hope I'll clarify here. The reason I'm saying that I want you to go to an old memory where you were happy with somebody else, and that person in this memory, you're imagining a different version of the memory where now they're reporting the news of your positive manifestation, is because we're linking this thing that happened that you vividly remember and have a positive emotional memory to, and we're pulling in the good news, the indicator that you're getting what you want with it, so it's enhancing its sense of realism for it. I'm hoping that that clarifies. Zpaw says it feels very vivid. New successful business. So that's interesting, Brandy. Like the new successful business, like whatever an indicator of what that is, go back to your old memory, whoever you were with, and imagine they're congratulating you rather than you guys singing and dancing. If that's what you're doing, now they're congratulating you on the new clients, or they're telling you that they loved your social media update about the new office space, or like whatever that thing might be. And Zeepaw says linking the fact of the past joy to the coming joy to the coming of the future joy. Exactly. Shannon says there was not one before, so I'm not sure what you mean by that. Okay, Kenneth's asking, how can I connect my marriage with my future new condo? Okay, awesome. So imagine this. Think back to your wedding, and actually, this is a wonderful question. So I'm going to make a couple of assumptions about what happened with your wedding. With your wedding, there was the best man toast. With your wedding, you're sitting there with your wife at the table with all the close family and friends. I don't know if there's a DJ or there's a band and there's a crowd in front of you. Perhaps in this kind of thing, in the best man speech, he surprises you by pulling out the keys of the condo. And he says, like, I know you're trying to wrap this up, and I did you a favor and I tied up all the loose ends. Here's the deed, here's the keys, enjoy. That wasn't obviously his real speech to you. That wasn't the real best man speech. But now you're taking this vivid memory of whatever that speech was and the joy you felt of that day, and you're linking up a version where you are getting the news that you now have your new condo. Samuel asks, is this like memory rewriting? I would say kind of, although that's not the goal of it. Like, I'm not trying to suggest that you rewrite these memories, because in one visualization, you're not going to do it, which is good. All I'm saying is we're leveraging a memory that would be difficult to change anyway, because it's so strong and positively linked to like the way you to link to your joy in life, that we're going to leverage that joy in that memory and just bring in a temporary new thing just to anchor it with a little more of a solid nature. This isn't like a method that I would not recommend doing. Not that you're going to rewrite your memory in my view, but I don't recommend doing this over and over again on the same memory. I'm just using this as an example of showing you how out of the blue we can construct, build, create manifesting methods that leverage our understanding of what this is really about. And again, this is about feeling good while thinking about what you have or want, or both. Okay, well, so let's say that feeling good while thinking about what you have or want, or both. So feeling good about what you want, that's one of the pieces, right? And feeling good about what you have or what you have had is one of the pieces. This specific manifesting method is my attempt on the fly, spontaneously, of merging them in a way that the one that happened already, which has a bigger feeling of authenticity with you because you actually experienced it, and we're leveraging the gratitude for that to kind of connect and make the thing that you want, that possibly might have felt a little more out of reach. Now it feels more real to you. Now it feels more possible. Now it feels more accessible. When something feels more accessible, whether you do that strategically or just it kind of does works out on its own, when something feels accessible, that means that your vibrational frequency is on a level. It's emanating a frequency that's open to this possibility, and it's creating space for things to happen for this. So again, if we're going to Ken's example of a condo, this is the kind of thing where, in terms of the stuff that's not within your control, the universe might put a condo listing on the market that you see first. Like, for some reason, like, I'll give you like a made up for instance. There's a really choice condo where if everybody knew it, it's a great price, great deal. If everybody knew about it, it would go like in a heartbeat, right? But perhaps this vibration, this energy of what you're doing, it means that there's a glitch on the website in that it doesn't show up in the results until you, who's looking for the condo, happens to be searching and you get in first. Just as a random possible example. This is just about this new reality feeling accessible to you, and it feels accessible so the universe has the space it needs to shift things for you, versus when it feels inaccessible, when it feels out of reach, when there's a level of frustration or uncertainty or doubt or impatience or anything like that. And that's where your vibrations, basically, you're vibrating the energy of, I'm not having this thing, which is the worst thing you want. And in that kind of situation, the website glitches on you before you could look at the listing and someone else gets it. Thank you, Tesh. You said great technique. I think this is the first time I'm reading it. Um, how's this one landing for people? Like, this one's a little bit, it's interesting. Lucky Girl says, so the excitement I felt learning I got my house is comparable to that of learning I have enough money to be financially free. Cool. Z Paul, thank you very much. And I think Lucky Girl, you're commenting and not you're giving a comment and not a question. But if it's a question, feel free to clarify. Amanda's loving it. Dana says very helpful. Shannon says confused because I came in late. Okay, well that makes perfect sense. If you didn't hear the whole thing, that's why. But basically, Shannon, and I invite you to watch this back and also the earlier live. But to tell you quickly, what I did was I invited people to think of a memory from the past with someone that's really strong to them. I invited them to then think of something that they want, then to think of the evidence of what they want, and then to imagine whatever that evidence is being communicated through the person they were with in the past. If that doesn't make sense, I'd like, rewatch from the beginning. But hopefully that clicks for you. So, with that in mind, notice again, we're looking for raw materials here. This is all about, like, what are the raw materials that we can use to pluck the details and the instructions that we need to do these manifesting methods. Abigail says, so amazing, I want to do it again. Nice. All right, beautiful. And this comment, so amazing, I wanted to do it again. This is the exact, thank you, because this is the exact point that I was making when I began this live. The whole point of this is that you enjoy these enough that you want to do them again. This is about leveraging your human nature, your need for novelty, your need for enjoyment, your need for happiness, so that you are motivated, you are incentivized to do this on a daily, consistent basis, versus something that won't work for you if it feels like a chore or a commitment or a burden or a hassle, if it's inconvenient for any way. None of this should ever feel inconvenient to you. And that's why we're doing this. Zpaw says, be present in your mind in the past, positive memory, but see the person you are with letting you know the great news that you want in the future. You put it way better than I did. Thank you very, very much. Tesh asks, how long would you do this for? So the answer to that is as long as you want and as long as feels good. So you can do it for 5 minutes. If your alarm goes off and you're kind of like you're still wanting to do it, you can quickly hit the snooze and stick with it. If you get bored or restless after 3 minutes, that's fine also. Like, the whole, as long as you don't feel bad, you can do it as long as you want or as long as it's convenient for you. I don't tell people to do 20 minutes just because 20 minutes feels like a burden, but you could do this for 20 minutes if you're genuinely enjoying it for 20 minutes. Like, that's it. There's no, I always say there's no wrong way of doing this. There's no wrong time amount of doing it, as long as you actually feel positive emotion, or at the very least, don't feel negative emotion. Christine says, it's a little weird because back in 1995, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't even have email. I certainly didn't have a bank app. So, Christine, I don't remember what your thing was, but, like, in other words, like, let's pretend that the thing was a payment notification coming in on your phone. Instead, what you can do is a thing where you're pulling out the pay stub of your new paycheck from your pocket, and the person that you're with is looking over and complimenting you and being really impressed by how much money you're making. Again, I don't know if your details was like a job or something else, but notice how I'm not, like, if it's the kind of news that would be on a phone or that kind of technology, let's go analog with it. Rather than a phone, maybe it's a piece of paper. Maybe it's just you talking about it. Maybe it's a thing where you're in a conversation from, like, in the old memory, you guys are having a conversation by how much fun you just had watching a band play, right? In the new memory, you quickly switch from that to the person complimenting you on and congratulating you on whatever the thing is that you've got. Awesome. Okay. Abigail says, once you get started doing it daily, you enjoy it so much you don't realize how much time has passed. Yeah, that's a really good point. That happens a lot, and it's an interesting thing. I tell people to set an alarm for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. I do that more to kind of reassure them that they don't have to spend too much time. But sometimes people that really enjoy this, they stop setting their alarm because they get tired of the alarm interrupting them just when they're getting into it. It all depends on your schedule. Like, are you doing this in the morning when you need to get ready for work and you don't have time to do it? Or are you doing this like at a time where you've got like a whole hour to play with? And like for me, if I know I want to do something for just for 5 minutes, but I know I have a half hour to play with, I will set the alarm for a half hour because that way, if 5 minutes pass and I'm still enjoying it and I don't want to detach from the visualization, I'll just keep going. Maybe I go 6 minutes, maybe I go 10 minutes, maybe I go 15 minutes. But because I set the alarm for so much later in a convenient time that'll still work for me, I'm free to decide whenever I want or not want to let go of this visualization to release the feeling of gratitude and joy to get on with my day. So, quick little side note there for something like that. The alarm is only good in such a way that you use it in a beneficial way for yourself. If it's interrupting you, set it for later. And give yourself that window, give yourself that extra space, give yourself that flexibility. Do you notice? I hope people notice, whether they've been with me for a long time or if they just discovered me. I, I'm I'm very I've worked very hard to not be rigid in my description of these methods. I think it's very important that unless there's some key critical detail in there, that no one feels like they have to do it a certain way. Again, people ask me all the time, Andrew, how do I know if I'm doing this right? And I email them back and I say, if you feel good while you're doing it right. It's really that. Like, well, Andrew, like you said in this visualization, I'm supposed to think of this thing doing that thing, but I can't seem to think of that thing doing that thing. But I can do that thing, and that feels good. I'm like, awesome. You've just modified the manifesting method in a way that works for you. Go with that. That really is the answer to that. All right, let's do some more methods here. Let's see what's going on here. So, if you could in the chat put down your most recent awesome memory. This could have happened this week. It could have happened, last month. It could have happened a year ago. I don't know if anyone's having a bad year. Like it, and that's fine. But what is like when I ask you that, what is the most recent awesome memory that just springs to mind? Zipo says getting engaged this week. Congratulations. That's awesome. Congratulations on your engagement. Very, very cool. Well, that's going to be a good one, right? What else do we have here? Throw in the chat. Just a recent memory where you're like, that's the most recent I can think of where that was awesome. And it feels like the chat might be lagging a little bit. So I'm having a little space. And while we're waiting for that, again, people watching this after the fact, comment below. Inspire people with your answers. Give them fuel. Give them the ability to do this. Oh, as Kelly says, Dodgers won the wild card. Sally says, hiking 16 miles with my best friend. Thank you, Zeepaw. Beecher said, great Zoom chat with my trading group today. Awesome. Cindy Lauper at the Hollywood Bowl with Cher. I know someone like really close to me. They love Cindy Lauper. Christine Baston, my daughter's boyfriend unexpectedly gave me $50 cash for my birthday. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Seeing a buddy I haven't seen in 10 years. Okay. This method that I just made up is the even better recent news method. The even better recent news method. What I want you to do is I want you to take that memory that you just had, that you're thinking of, and I want you to include the detail that we were just talking about of someone giving you the news. So, for example, like if you want financial freedom and your daughter's boyfriend just unexpectedly gave you $50 cash, imagine a situation where, like, upon receiving it, you see the lotto on the TV behind you, and your lotto numbers come up. You know, Cindy Lauper thing, like you're at that concert, right? You're remembering this concert. Let's say that you want a new job. Imagine you're at the concert and you're loving it, and your phone buzz. You feel your phone buzz in your pocket. You pull it out, and you see an email from a person telling you, "Congratulations, you've got the job." Or I think Kenneth had mentioned the condo, right? And I don't know what Kenneth is. I don't know if I saw a recent example from Kenneth, but whatever that situation is, whatever the recent cool thing that happened. Again, visualize like while that's going on, your realtor calls you and says, "Congratulations, everything's done with the condo. You're all set. You can come in and do the final paperwork." Like marry. Notice how in the beginning I wanted to marry this really good news, this indicator, this key indicator that you got what you want with a distant memory that really links with you. We're oscillating, we're moving this around here, and now we're linking it with a very recent good memory. And what we're doing is we're reinforcing that this is a real thing, regardless of the point in your life that you're at, regardless of where you are on your timeline. That's what this is really about. Um, let's see. I hope I'm not missing. I saw Samuel said seeing a bud. Okay. Shannon says I got a review from a customer today that was so amazing. I had tears in my eyes. Awesome. So Shannon, whatever you want, like whatever good news you want, imagine you read that review, you've got tears in your eyes, and then you get news on your phone of the other thing that you want, and you have to like wipe the tears away because the screen is blurry. Like these are the kind of vivid details. Or you have even more tears in your eyes because you get this good news. We had someone, Maya, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, seeing Kylie Minogue in Chicago. Great night and great show. Floor seats, very nice. Floor seats are always awesome. So again, the really cool thing about that is when you're at a concert and you've got really good seats and you're just enjoying life, like people, it's funny, even when people are into a show, if they feel like their phone buzzing, they're going to pull it out. Or it could even be a thing where they're with a friend and their friend does it. Or you can be like really dramatic. And I don't know, Namaya, if you want a condo, but we'll do this as an example. Imagine you're seeing Kylie, and from the stage, Kylie's like, she gets handed a piece of paper and she says, "I have a special announcement. The person holding ticket, blah, 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 row A, seat 1, has just won a brand new condo. These are the keys. Come up here and get it." Like, and I said this in my last live, you can throw these ridiculous versions of it just to kind of link it up and just to play, just to break up the monotony and break up the doubts or whatever is lingering that's keeping you from doing this. LW says like an emotional warm up. I think that's a great way of putting it. Looks like we got a fellow Dodger fan when Dizzy. Awesome. Cool. Ken saw Kylie in Los Angeles. Very cool. So Kenneth, again, you can do that kind of situation. Imagine Kylie on stage saying, "Hey, I got these keys. I got all the paperwork. Oh, is it you, sir? Come on up." And imagine like her pointing to you and you coming right up, wherever you are in the crowd. Abigail says, I went on the longest walk I've been on in over a year. Very cool. Andrea says, "A sweet kitty comes to be with me at my Airbnb." Very nice. So imagine while that's happening, you get some kind of news or some kind of indicator. And that's great because, you're getting affection from this sweet animal. So emotionally speaking, you're at a really good high. And now you're linking that high with this really good news for you. So how are we feeling about that? Is that one good for you guys? Notice, by the way, is very interesting. Because I did the one before and I was like all over the place. I'm like, I hope I got enough creative juice for the second one because like when I write, usually I'll do like a really good. I do a lot of editing, but in terms of a writing session, I'll do one really strong writing session per day, and then that's it. So I'm like re-engaging my brain in this old way. So it's very interesting to be pulling this level of spontaneity or whatever level it might be in that state. But I notice right now, it's a very good lesson for you. Already I'm leveraging and I'm modifying what I'm working with. Like in the last live, I was bouncing all over the place and people were throwing so much in the chat there was a lot to work with there. But now I'm like, I'm using what it's already there as a reference point to easily shift it and make something else make sense for me. Very important. Like these are the little things, these are the subtle things that will make a difference for you when you want to come up with your manifesting methods. And like sometimes like it'll feel like you're kind of like pulling this out of nowhere and it's like, is this even legit? And again, the question or the answer, like the only thing that determines that is whatever this method that you made up, whatever these details that you did, if you engage in that method, do you have a positive emotional experience while thinking about what you have or what you want or both? If you do, we don't care about creativity points. We don't care if it's the most original thing ever or if it seems like just a derivative of something that you came up with 5 minutes ago. We don't all we care about is a level of novelty and freshness to this that will keep us coming back. that'll keep us consistent, that will keep us in this emotional state, this positive emotional state for just at least 5 minutes per day. That's all we care about. It really is. So awesome. All right. Now, throwing this, I'm going to ask the chat to throw this in. I might have done something similar in the last one, but in the chat, if you could, and people coming later in the comments, give me a detail, please, of like a hobby or some kind of thing that really lights you up. That really like you just enjoy spending your time doing this thing or engaging in this thing or whatever it might be. Like, what is a fun aspect of life? A fun thing that you consider that you enjoy spending time on and that just makes you feel great. Reading, lovely. You're in the right place, right? Reading, cool. Listening to music, beautiful. Pickleball, very, very cool. Copywriting, oh, Tash, you and me, we're on that together. Walking my dogs, very cool. Okay. Creating KDP books, very cool. Playing music. All right. Let's do this. We've got listening to music and playing music. Notice how they're similar. We can do something like really interesting with either of these in a similar way. Um, for someone that listens to music or plays music, when you're listening to that music or you're playing, and you're hearing the changes of the notes, you're hearing the chord progressions or whatever it might be. Visualize the notes, the musical notes actually like floating up in the air, turning to gold, and imbuing you with warm white magnetic light. And what it's basically doing is it's imbuing you with the energy of rhythm and the energy of synchronicity that's inviting the result that you want from the universe, whatever that result might be. I saw Z-Paw said reading before. Go to a book and read a favorite book, something with like a positive message, and imagine the words and the letters and the sentences jumping off the page and again becoming gold glitter and just just sprinkling about and imbuing you with this magnetic, attractive energy that's shifting your vibrational frequency. What else do we have here? Hiking. When you're on your hikes, like imagine like every step you take, imagine the ground in front of you is like golden. And as you step in, you're imbuing the energy of golden or white light that's just making you more magnetic to what you want. Imagine, acknowledge the trees around you, like nod to them. And when they sway with the wind, acknowledge that they're kind of like winking and nodding to you, saying, hey, guess what? That thing's on the way. And imagine like as the breeze comes on you, that breeze is actually your best version of actually feeling the energy of the thing that's coming to you. Kenneth asks, does the feeling have to be super exciting? Because with the things I receive, I feel normal. For example, I bought a new Audi this year that I've been wanting the longest, and it felt meh normal. So that's a great question. The answer is it could be either. And I can't begin to tell you how many things for me have felt just like meh. And that's okay. Like the truth is a lot like for some people things are going to feel amazing, but for other people when that thing comes, it's just going to be life. It's going to be everyday life. That's just the way it is. And like think about it. It's okay for it to be that way because it's one thing to be excited, which fine, do that. It's another thing to be surprised. You shouldn't always feel too surprised because like sometimes you're on such a high vibe that even with the surprise you'll get what you want. But if you're too surprised by something, that might be an indicator that you were doubting it, Like it should feel like a lot of times people even when they are excited and they report the thing that they got, they'll tell me that before it happened even though it was exciting, they kind of felt on the cusp of it already, which is another way of saying it. They kind of like felt all they felt comfortable in their skin as they were doing it, and like it felt normal and natural to them. So Kenneth, I hope I answered your question, but it's fine if it feels normal. It really is. Um, Tesh, that's an interesting question, not law of attraction related. Feel free to email me. Go to andrewcap.com and go to the contact section because I would need you to clarify that question. And it's not really law of attraction, but I'd be very happy to answer that for you. So Kenneth said, I did feel excited, but I wasn't jumping up and down excited. Yeah, that's okay. Like, and it's funny, Kenneth, like what you're saying is like, we're so used to seeing, we see people win the lottery on TV, whether it's real people or it's a TV show or it's movies or whatever. We see people get these things and we see them jump up and down with excitement. And we make this connection in our minds of this assumption that it's supposed to be that way. That's the only way it could happen. Like, think of how cool this is. If you're the type of person that gets excited but isn't like jumping through the roof, just go your whole like keep getting what you want and imagine like what a great thing, right? Your life just keeps getting better and better and better, and you just keep feeling at ease with it. It's a wonderful thing. Like, there's no requirement to feel like completely excited. It's some people do, some people don't. Again, the whole thing is as long as it works for you, as long as you're getting what you want, as long as you're getting the result in the manifestation, from my standpoint, that's all that matters. And again, I've been in both types of scenarios. I've had both types of experiences. I've had experiences where it's just like meh, and I've experiences where it's like super excited. Like when when this guy right here crossed 100,000 copies in sales, it was a very interesting experience because I knew for weeks ahead of time, like we were getting close. So I was already integrating that reality. And when it happened, it was kind of like all like it was like, yeah, it was supposed to happen like within the next 2 or 3 days. Like it was so automatic, right? But by that same token, after the fact, I like made myself sit and think about the significance of it, the significance of 100,000 separate human beings that thought enough of the book, of the cover, of the title to put down their hard-earned money and take a chance on it. The significance of that where I let myself like ponder it really washed over me and it was a profound experience in that way. But that was after the fact and I had to put on the brakes and force myself to do that. You know, you see a lot of athletes and they win. I know Derek Jeter, like he won a lot of championships in New York. He was very intent in interviews about saying he focuses what's on next. He doesn't like dwell in the past because he's always trying just to get that next thing. That was his formula for success. So everyone has their own way of dealing with something and integrating something in a way that's really over the top or not so much, or different emotions about the same thing at different times. Um, Dizzy said, I've been going through a lot of grief for the past few years. I feel like my energy has been diminished greatly, like a black cloud over me and no joy. What is what can I do to there might have been a typo there. What can I do to get my mojo back? Okay. So here's where I'd go with this, Dizzy. I when you've been going through something for years, like you're over it already. You just want to move on. And by the way, you might want to check out like this week's prior lives. There might be some stuff in there for you. Um, but the way to get out of this, in my view, is to do it with subtlety. And what I mean by that is, if you just said I bought it, I don't know if that means that you just bought this, because if it is, that means you don't know yet about the ego. And just as a preview, you'll read about it in the book, but there's a part of your mind that, in a misguided way of trying to protect you, it will keep you in these kinds of lulls because all it cares about is that you're alive. And right now, even in this negative state, you're alive. So it's going to keep you there. So this is one of those things where if you've had a black cloud over you for years, you almost want to like, sneak in with the good thoughts and the good things. And what you really want to do without any attachment, without any requirement, without any rushing, without any worrying, just commit to 5 minutes a day of feeling good while thinking about what you have or want or both. And again, yeah, definitely you want to check out my live from last night and my live from the night before, just in case there's any troubleshooting that you need. But the key here is just giving yourself permission to feel this positive emotion. And what you're doing is when you put in just 5 minutes a day, even if that black cloud is there for the rest of the day, you've built up what I kind of like call vibrational equity. Like you've put like an investment in there and it's going to compound, it's going to increase. So tomorrow you're going to do it again. And that black cloud, in a way that you could barely detect, it's going to be a little lighter. And maybe a month later, you'll notice it's even lighter. And even a month later, like, or maybe it'll happen right away. Like for me, the worst point that I ever was at in my life, where everything was like going crazy, it took 6 months till everything was better, but a lot was better in 2 weeks. And a lot was better within 3 months. And a lot was better within 4 months. Like what you're going to find if you go down this journey, I believe, and in my experience, is it'll be a reasonable amount of time before everything's better, but on the way to everything being better, different other things will be better. So you just want to give yourself grace, patience, care, kindness, and give yourself the gift of, again, it could be my method, it could be anyone's method, like any method that works. I mean, you just bought my book, so you might as well like get your money's worth, right? Give yourself the gift of doing these types of things and just engaging and allowing things to shift in subtle ways until suddenly it's not so subtle. It's kind of like working out. Someone works out, they haven't worked out in 2 years, in 2 years, and they lift weights really hard. And then they look at the next day, they look in the mirror and they're not happy with their body. It's like the changes are not coming in 24 hours. That's one of those things where like anyone that follows like fitness, in those cases, mostly it's like progress is really slow until it's fast. There's this really weird shift at some point in the process where you start to see like a difference in your results, and then you really see a different results. And before you know it, you have all this momentum. That's the approach I want you to have. I want you to understand that there's going to be a few days of just like working out and not seeing shifts, so to speak, but that it's going to get there, and just be patient with yourself and kind with yourself in the meantime. I'm hoping I gave you a good answer to that. Okay. So how we doing here? We're 46 minutes in. So you're very welcome. So trying to think, what is a good method to end on for this, or a good question to ask you? So this is what I'm going to ask you, and you throw it in the chat. And it doesn't matter whether, actually, it matters for this purposes. Anyone who's still in your life right now, who is your favorite person in the world that you still interact with? Whoever that is, throw it in the chat for me, or anyone, any latecomers, come throw it in the comments. Your favorite person in the world. And I'll just give you guys a minute. You don't have to put their real name if you don't want. Like, you can just say your cousin, say your brother, say your girlfriend, say your niece. Awesome. Sister. Awesome. Daughter. Awesome. Love it. Anyone else? Your best friend, your best friend. Beautiful. Think about, thank you, Paul. Thank you. Think about your favorite thing to do with them. And it could be just like, it could be the simplest thing of just like hanging out and doing nothing. But think of a fun thing that you do with them regularly. Like, what's a standard activity? And in fact, you know what? At this point, Beatrice says, I've heard that when you are falling asleep is the best time to put in great ideas in your subconscious. So having something for bedtime would be great. Oh, all right, Beatrice. After I finish up this method, I'll do a bedtime method for you. I'll just make it up on the fly. Okay. In fact, you guys don't even have to throw into the comments anymore. I'm just going to guide you for the rest of the way here. So you've got your favorite person in the world, right? And now I want you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath, and just visualize yourself doing the normal, regular thing that you like to do with this person, your favorite person. And obviously, in case Kenneth is wondering, it doesn't have to be an exciting thing. It just be like normal every day, but you're just happy being with them because you love them and you care about them so much, right? Whatever that thing might be, picture yourself in that position, in that state with them. And as you're with them, imagine the conversation, whatever it is, shifting towards them giving you wonderful news about their life that you know that they want, and you shifting and giving them wonderful good news about you. Envision a conversation where you're both giving each other wonderful news, and the visualizations, like, what counts as wonderful news for them, and you obviously know what counts as wonderful news for you. Have that visualization, this conversation, and notice how it feels good, but it also kind of feels normal at the same time. This is the whole method. The whole method is you're anchoring a normal everyday thing that you associate with a positive emotion in a person that you love. And not only do you have the good feeling of being able to share and express that good news for them, but you also have the good feeling and the good emotion and the good experience of receiving good news from them, being happy for them. So we're kind of compounding the good feelings of what this is. And we'll call it, favorite person, favorite time, favorite place manifesting method. I don't know how that, I'll have to rename it maybe, but that's the method. That's the whole thing. Notice again, and anyone that's followed me long enough, these are not complicated. They should not be complicated. There's no need. This should be so simple, so basic, so so, so accessible. Like that's what makes it accessible. That's all it really should be here. Hoping everyone's feeling this. Hoping, and again, like you might be feeling like very little emotion right now. There might be a subtle shift, or your chest or your solar plexus might be buzzing. Like it all depends on who you are and how you interact and operate with the world, and how you respond to these kinds of input. But kind of sit with it for a little bit there. Okay, I got a fun one for Beatrice. Um, we're gonna call this the counting money method, and it's kind of like a play on something. Dana says that was a strange warm feeling in my gut. That's awesome. Like anyone watching, you don't have to have what was just described there, but if you do receive it, it is a wonderful input that your body's responding really well. If you're responding well, your body, some people feel a little more than others, and there's no right or wrong to that. But a buzzing means that your body's actually like humming with the enjoyment of perceiving this shift in your frequency. Your body can detect things that you don't consciously notice. Kenneth asks if we keep doing these exercises, does that send the wrong signal to the universe because we're doing it because we don't have it yet? Okay, so here's the thing, Kenneth. It's kind of like it depends on your attitude about doing this. Like if you're doing something every single day because like, oh, I want the thing, versus a more open-ended attitude of like, listen, I don't know when the thing's going to come or how it's going to come. I'm just going to do this as like a commitment to myself. I don't need to remind the universe. I understand that the universe already knows, but this is my way of telling the universe out of respect and love for myself that I'm committed to myself. So depending on how you view it, if you're viewing it from a lackful feeling that you're trying to force the universe or trick the universe into getting what you want, well then you actually are coming with the perception that you don't get it and you're reinforcing that. But if you do it every day with more of a sense of gratitude and abundance and space, and it's just a thing where it's like once is enough. You could think of the thing once and the universe knows. You still have to feel good every day because you still have to have yourself in that space. But again, as long as you're not doing it from the standpoint of trying to force it, and I think I discussed this in either yesterday's live or the live before or both of them, and I bring it up in this guy right here. But you don't want to feel good for the sake of getting the thing that you want. You want to feel good for the sake of feeling good, knowing that it creates space for you to get the thing that you want. Beatrice, I haven't forgotten about you, by the way. I know the method I'm going to give you. So this is really from the, like, Kenneth, the answer to all these things is always like, how do you feel? Like when you're doing a certain method, how often you're doing a certain method. If you feel good, if you feel okay about it, if you feel a sense of space and abundance, you're cool. If you don't, like if you feel bad about it, like that's an issue you want to look at. And the thing like that, what I would do strategically, in case you're wondering, is I would say, all right, I gave it one really good day, or I gave it one really good week. The universe knows. Let me use the methods for other stuff because all I have to do is feel good. That's all I have to worry about. Awesome. Let's go to the method just taught for Beatrice. Beatrice was thinking about like, what's a good method before bedtime, right? And I call this, I just made this up on the fly. I call it counting the money method, but it's based on counting sheep. Everyone knows that old thing. Anyone that saw the old cartoons when people try to get to sleep and they can't, they start counting sheep. That's supposed to lull them to sleep. I don't know. Beatrice, I want you to, when you go to sleep, you can close your eyes. I want you to count sheep, but as all the sheep kind of like hop over your head, each one is dropping whatever you want on you. And what I mean by that is, well, actually, I'll do two versions. There's counting the money and counting the abundance. Counting the money, it's like dropping gold coin. Every sheep that jumps over you either drops coins on you, or if that's too much like a jarring imagery, they deposit a coin into like a machine that represents your bank account. They're doing something that contributes money to you. For anyone that doesn't want money, they might want like love. Maybe instead of hopping in and dropping a coin on you, they deposit a heart or a cupid arrow into this machine or something representing your love life. In other words, the visualization is kind of like a joking, funny thing of counting sheep, but the sheep are doing something specific in a specific action that's contributing to the abundance and increase of whatever it is that you want, whether it's money or love or whatever the thing might be. I mean, if you want to hear back from Jobs, like the sheep is basically like, depositing the positive email for you in the this machine that brings you your abundance, something like that. And again, if that's a little jarring the way I put that, because I'm just making this up on the fly, you could shift the details. Maybe, rather than like depositing something into a machine, the sheep's just like winking at you and saying, it's yours. Another sheep comes. It's yours. Another sheep. Congratulations. Another sheep. I'm very happy for you. Like, find a ways of modifying this. Beecher says, I'm going to have happy sheep dropping money on me tonight. Awesome. Have fun with it. Z Paul says, so if this exercise makes you feel good, great. That's it. So if it feels good, beautiful. If it doesn't, do something else. I honestly don't know how impressive or unimpressive this is. I imagine to certain people, this is very unimpressive, and to other people, this is super impressive. Like what I'm doing here. And like wherever you are with it, awesome. Like it is what it is, but it impressive or unimpressive, wherever you are with it, just understand it's just about keeping it simple. Like this is the manifesting method workshop where we're pulling in details, we're pulling in leveraging points, we're pulling anchors that have some kind of positive impression on us. We're pulling in anchors from that are represented in our past. We're using anchors that are represented in our present. We're using anchors that are represented in our future. And we're melding them together in a way that feels good. But so we're reinforcing the gratitude of what we have and what we have had. And we're pulling in the gratitude for the thing that we want. It's just a strategic thing of feeling great. Kimberly says, I do journaling before bed. I read your book. I listen to videos bedtime I do my everyday life. When a thought comes to my head, it might give me anxiety, and I try to settle my mind saying I have it. Awesome. Apologies, guys, if I sound like a little jittered. Sometimes I'll read a sentence wrong or there'll be a missing word. It's fine. Tesh says, impressive for me, gives me ideas to create my own. Awesome. That was the exact intention of this and the last workshop live, to give you the ideas to create your own, to show you how this works. Because, you know, I envision people like have this certain perception that I'm hard at work, like thinking of this thing, and it takes me a year to come up with something. Sometimes, like if I'm trying, it'll take a while to come up with something. But other times, it's more like I'm just open. Something will happen. I'll see a meme while I'm doom scrolling, or someone will say something, or I'll remember something. Something will pop into my mind, and there'll be like this clicking of like, oh, I see how I could relate this to a method where I'm leveraging the power of this imagery or the power of this idea or concept to help somebody feel good. That's what I really do. Thank you, Abigail. This is massively impressive. Awesome. Awesome, Christine. Thank you. Very cool. Very cool. How are we doing, guys? Is there if someone has oh, thank you, Tesh. You just bought the book. I really hope you enjoy it. Audiobook's great. I mean, it was a chore to record, let me tell you. Funny story. Like I wasn't gonna do an audiobook because I'm a control freak. So if I'm gonna do an audiobook, I have to record it myself. And it felt like quite a task. I wasn't gonna do it, but people kept asking. So I'm like, what is the answer to this? Like, well, the answer is to serve. People are asking, let me do it. And it's the audiobook that pushed it over 100,000 sales, like 100,000 copies. So, you know, time well spent. Dizzy feels a little lighter. Beautiful. And notice you said a little. That's great. You don't have to feel like if you feel massively lighter, cool, but a little is actually a lot. You feel a little lighter, cool. And please, Dizzy, expect two possibilities. One possibility is you're going to keep feeling lighter. Another possibility is you're going to wake up tomorrow with the same cloud over your head. That's okay. If that happens, don't be discouraged by that. This may take a little bit longer. That's okay. Remember what happened tonight. Remember that you have access to a lighter feeling. It's not gone. As long as that cloud has been there, as drained as you might feel, your access to positive emotions, your access to being able to enjoy life is not gone. The opportunity is there, the possibility and more like the probability is still there for you. I'm about to wrap up unless anyone has some last minute kind of method request you want to throw in. Because Beatrice said she wants something for bedtime. Is there any final thing that you want me to try to come up with something on the fly in order to give you guys something? And I'll give it a minute. And while I'm giving it a minute, Matt's asking, what have I been working on lately? I can't say yet, Matt. I'm working on something really cool. I would say this because I'm working on value and giving value. And anyone's seen like I'm on all these different lives. And while I'm talking, if anyone wants to put in a breath request, cool. If not, no biggie. Um, trying to think of enhanced, better ways for me to provide value. I was off YouTube for like I don't know 2 years or something like that. I don't know March 23. I did an update about this guy. Then I think January 2024, I did a meditation, and then I think earlier this year I did a really cool interview. And then until like this last month, I wasn't posting. I'm in that mode again where I want to do more for people. So just the way we have this interplay, like with this chat, I am working on hopefully having a really cool solution where we can actually chat. Like we could see each other's faces, we could hear each other's voices. There's no such thing. Like I'm not going to stop doing the lives. I'm still going to be giving free value, but I'm hoping for enhanced ways. That's what I'm working on, Matt, trying to make that work. Beatrice says, I think Diary of the CEO is now in Los Angeles. Maybe you could chat with him. I um I mean I'm in New York. I don't know who that person is, but maybe I'll do some research and figure out who that is. And apologies that I don't. Sometimes I know so much and sometimes I know so little. Um cool. Any other so here's what I'm gonna do. Since no one is requesting a method, but Matt Matt Lane is awesome. Matt Lane is going to be the inspiration for one final method here. And Matt has a really cool book called Get Fit on Fast Food. It's really like anyone that wants to check out Matt, like his YouTube channel, he did like a whole documentary with the whole thing. Matt put out this book where like if you know Matt, like if you were to be friends with him and interact with him, dude's like fit. He is awesome, right? And he he's done, he's been a fitness coach for people and he's made programs for people. And I hope that I'm sharing his vision the right way and not putting words in his mouth. But Matt wanted to serve his clients at an even higher level. And he was missing one thing. Because he was always in shape, when he was helping clients and they were losing motivation and he had to say the right thing and give them the right information and give them the right feedback and give them the right steps. When he had to do that, the one thing he didn't know is he didn't have the actual experience of having to shed weight, of having to go through that process, of dealing with the emotional difficulty when someone really wants to make that leap. So Matt, on purpose, gained a lot of weight and cost himself for a time his level of fitness. And what he did was he wanted to demonstrate that even in a dire situation where someone's trying to get in shape, even the ridiculous, even the out there that you wouldn't think is possible is possible. So he actually lost weight and improved his labs, like the cholesterol, the testosterone, like he improved his lab work by eating nothing but fast food for 60 days. Now, I'm not recommending you eat fast food for 60 days. I don't think Matt's recommending that you eat fast food for 60 days. And he was strategic in the fast food that he chose, but it was fast food. And the reason I'm bringing up this point is Matt took something that we have the stigma of like, this is not possible. This should not be possible. And yet he did it and he documented it. With that in mind, this is the get fit on fast food method or the Matt Lane method or something. I just want you to, and this isn't something that you have to do in real time. I want you to think of the goal that you want, and I want you to think of a completely ridiculous way that it could happen. Just think of a ridiculous, like think of something that should not line up with reality. That just think of it happening that way. And we're not attaching a requirement for this to be this way. We're not saying like this is the way it's supposed to be. We're not like all we're doing is we're loosening up the emotional vibrational scar tissue, so to speak. We're loosening up the doubts by feeding an image into our mind of this happening in a wondrous way, because maybe it doesn't happen in the ridiculous way that you're coming up with in your mind, but it leaves space for it to happen in another way that you might not think is possible or might at least not think is probable. That, and again, I'm thinking of my friend Matt. I'm like, he's the inspiration. What did he do? He did this really cool thing. What was his intention? It was this cool thing. What was the result? It was that cool thing. How can I relate and translate that to a manifesting method? That's what I did. We're anchoring from useful parts that make an impression on us that matter. That's what this is about. As I get close to wrap things up here, I'm coming upon like a realization that this this workshop is standalone, and the workshop I did earlier today is standalone, but combined together, watching one after the other, I think there's an enhancement because there's a different energy to both. There's a different way I go about coming up with these methods spontaneously on the fly. So I'd recommend people in the future watch both of them. And it doesn't matter what order you watch them in, quite frankly, although the more natural order is that one first. But I'm just bringing that up because I'm having this realization that these bookend each other really, really well. And I'm leaving it up here for you. So like this is for you. Um, Z-Paw's been there. Yeah, you've been great. I love having you on these things. You have no idea. You bring so much great energy to all this. All right, so we're over an hour now, and I'm about to tap out here. And oh, one more thing before I tap out. Tomorrow, I don't know if it's gonna be one or two, but I'm gonna do another live, and it won't be getting your ideas to create manifesting methods, but it will be interactive in the sense that I plan to guide you through methods. So what happened this past Monday, I did Money Manifesting Monday Live, where I walked people through methods. Tomorrow, on either one or two lives, I'm going to walk you through methods. And this is really for people that they're busy or they haven't really been getting into the flow of things. Um, they don't have Gravity of the Cosmos, my 90-day program, which walks people through stuff. I'm going to walk you through live. So you show up to the live and I'll walk you through the method and you get to experience a couple different manifesting methods for whatever specific goals you have. You're gonna have your own personal version as I guide you through the steps. So I think it's called something like autumn manifesting. I was working on the thumbnails before, but you have that to look forward to tomorrow. I highly recommend checking out for people watching live. For people who see this in the future, go search YouTube, my channel for the autumn stuff. I'm going to do some autumn, at least one or two autumn meditations, or autumn lives where I'm going to walk people through different methods. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I see we got 27 people left. Awesome, you guys. I'm here for you, and this is very gratifying. And all I can say is like I'm really glad I started doing this again. You guys have made a really big difference, and I can't wait to keep doing this stuff with you. You have a great night, guys. Have, a great rest of your Friday, and I look forward to seeing hopefully most of you tomorrow.